Welcome, everyone. We are live on this beautiful Friday. It is Friday. And here we are yet again. Ah, outside is still dark. Not pitch black, but it's dark. Um, quite like a dusk. And today we're talking about freeing your mind. On Vogue, but I also learned that there is Parliament. Parliament with George Clinton. They did something very similar. Free your mind and your ass will fall. Because it's true. You know, this came up because we were talking about these things yesterday, and uh, it was rather intriguing because what we tend to not remember is that when the body is acting in a particular way, right? If it's doing something, it's only doing it in response to your thoughts. So if your mind is going somewhere, like you're thinking about something, you're feeling it, you're going to experience it in your body. So when we're looking at things like health, I know because sometimes in clinic you would get people who say, well, oh my God, I'm so constipated. I'm so this, I'm so. Mm-hmm. Well, the thoughts are bound up, aren't they? Well, then how do you think the body will respond? Remember the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. So there's no way around having an experience, especially when you are the one thinking and experiencing that said experience in your imagination. It's the way you're talking to yourself. So you see, we're going to go through the weekend, right? And we're going to do what? Remember. We're going to remember to do your very best to stay in the state or mental mood or mental attitude that you want to be in spite of what is going on around you. You find a way. If you think that stomping your feet will do it, stomp. Just do it. Just get it out of your system. Holler, scream, just get it out of your system. And then put your mind where you want it to be. Because remember, we don't ever have to force ourselves. Yes? You don't have to force yourself to be something or to do it. It is whatever you determine yourself to be. That is what you will do. This is the way it always is going to happen. So you see, what we tend to do sometimes, we tend to complain. I told you, I keep telling you, the more we complain, the worse it gets. Why? Because you're looking at it. You're giving it your full attention. It has your mind consumed. So then, the very fact that your attention is on it, well, that's what you're going to experience because you're looking at it. So then the question becomes, well, how am I supposed to put my mind somewhere else when this is the thing that's in my face right now? Well, you acknowledge the thing in your face. Always acknowledge the thing in your face. I'll say it one more time. Always acknowledge the thing in your face and then decide, what do I want to make this thing into? And then you start seeing that. Start seeing your solution. Remember how you trigger it with a simple question. Well, what would it be like if dot dot dot? What would it be like if I didn't have this problem? What would it be like if I was doing this instead? What would it be like? Because you ask yourself that question, something happens. You begin to see different scenarios. You begin to think different thoughts in alignment with the question. Naturally, that is what happens. You see, Friday is a recap because we go through the weekend, right? We go through the weekend. But as you go through the weekend, you must remember yourself. You must remember. We are always going to face things, but what we continually do is to be deliberate about what you want to experience instead of what you're currently facing. And the reason you stay faithful to it, remember, like the artist at the easel, he's drawing something and he can see it very clearly because it is standing still. He's holding the image, meaning the faith is, this thing is mine, it is done. I'm going to say thank you for that. Now, Neville Goddard has a tool. He says, if you can't see it, he says, but you can feel it. You can feel the satisfaction, right? So he says, if you cannot see the image, feel the satisfaction of the image, the outcome, and say thank you for that. Because why would anybody say thank you? Because you got something. That's why you would say thank you. Because you got something. You wouldn't say thank you otherwise. So he's saying, if you can't see it, quote unquote, if you can't visualize or you can't hear it, you can feel. And it is what you feel that you believe to be true. It is what you feel that you believe to be true. Truly, it is. You see, sometimes we get confused between feeling and thinking a thing. You can feel excited about having ice cream, but if in your mind's eye you taste that ice cream, that's different from thinking about the ice cream. Just thinking about the ice cream, kind of sort of makes you feel good, you know? But if you can taste the ice cream, and there's always something, there's always a favorite dish that if you think about it, you're like, and you taste it. And your body says, ooh, this is our jam. Do you know that you'll go out and get that thing? Because it moved you. But if you're just like, meh, I know my favorite food is dot, dot, dot. That's just a memory. It's just a favorite food you brought to memory. But if you bring it to memory and it moves you, you know, satisfaction doesn't start when you put the food in your mouth and you eat it, you know. Your salivary glands begin to make your mouth water. That is where digestion is beginning. And you haven't put a single thing in your mouth yet. But the mere thought and feeling of your favorite dish will start the digestive process. Makes your mouth water, salivary amylase to break down your starches. So you see, the body always responds. So if you have freed your mind, how do you free your mind? Listen, it's going to be a daily thing because there's so much going on in the world that it doesn't try to pull us into it. No. What's happening there is so much is going on There's so much to see and so much to do and so much to experience, so much to feel. So what do? You feel them, you experience it, you say, oh my God, this is so cool. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look at that one. So what can we say? We can say that everything wants a piece of our attention. Why is that important? Attention. Because when you pay attention to something, if it moves you, you will act. Period. That's what it is. You give something your attention, and as long as it moves you, you will act. You could see many things and not be moved by them, and thus you just go past it. You're like, whatever, meh, you know? But if you come upon something and it moves you to say, oh my God, what is going on? See, you've been moved. AKA, you have been polarized. See? So once you've been polarized, you will act. And you will act in the only way that you can. The way that thing makes you feel. The direction of the polarity. The intensity of the movement. So this is why, as we go through the weekend, be diligent to do what? Practice putting your thoughts, practice giving yourself the direction to think from, the direction to feel from. Because as I said, there are many things we will see and experience on the outside. But we do get to be deliberate by simply saying, what would it be like if I were ... You put your mind there. Why would you put your mind there? Because you know what's going on the outside. If you already know what's going on out there, does it need your attention? No. Only enough for you to say, I don't want that. So if you're going to say, I don't want that, what would you prefer instead? You can't just leave it hanging. You have to ask, I don't want that. So what do I want instead? And the moment you answer that question, what do you want instead? You'll begin to see different scenarios, hear different things, and you will choose the one that is most real to you. That is what you're asking yourself. What would I rather have instead? Don't just say, I don't want that. Okay, and you're left unsatisfied if you don't fill in that blank space. And the whole key is always satisfaction. Rain at the end of a very hot day, that is satisfaction, let me tell you. It is cool, is it not? Even when it snows, that is satisfaction. So you see, we always tend to lean towards satisfaction. We just do, because that is our nature. Because satisfaction brings you the, that's nice, right? That's what satisfaction does. But if you don't get the satisfaction, what happens? Agitation. And then you're constantly seeking satisfaction. This is why the satisfaction must come from within the self. Within. How do you cultivate the satisfaction? By knowing what you want. You see, when you know what you want, you can say, okay, good. That's what I want. So said, so done. Why? Remember, because faith is not blind. Faith is not blind. You're not believing something that you don't know about. Where do you know it from? your mind's eye. You're the one who said, this thing is unsatisfactory to me. So I would rather have this as an experience. So did you not see it? The moment you named it to say that's the experience you would prefer, you saw it. So you saw it. Who put it there? You put it there. So is it real or is it not? Of course it is real. The thing that moves you is what is real to you. But you know what we base real on? Whether everybody else can see it. You know, some people say, well, that's just a hallucination. Hallucination is considerably different. At least in the way the world looks at things, right? But if you think about it, they tell you when someone is leaving this world, they begin to fixate on a corner of the room and they'll describe to you what they see there. Are they hallucinating or are they telling you what they're seeing? You can't see it, but they can see it. Because I know it's something, especially my mom has told me, like they'll tell you what they see in the corner. They'll describe it to you in great detail. But the person looking in the corner, you can't see it, but they're telling you what they're seeing in great detail. Is it a hallucination? See, this is the thing. We tend to dismiss. We dismiss people when they say, oh my God, I saw this, da 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 da. How can I look at them and tell them, no, you didn't? How am I going to say, no, you didn't? I'm not the one looking through your eyes. They are. Whether or not I believe what they say to me, it is real to them. Just like when you are dealing with an artist and they don't yet have a pattern cut out, they don't have anything on the canvas, but they can see it in their mind's eye. I'm going to come along and say, no, you don't see it. But do you know when I'll believe it? When they draw it. Because clearly they saw something. So they're drawing it. Right? Let's not be quick to judge. If someone says they're seeing something, you want to say, well, fine, you're going to play along. But you're not playing along. Listen to what they have to say. Many a young child has said, and we call it their imaginary friend, but they're seeing. Now, that's a great question, Everyday King. Can emotions be hallucinations? Well, when you see something so if you and I were talking in a space like right now, and you say, Angela, I'm seeing, and you begin to describe it to me, but not only are you describing what you see, you feel it in your body. Because it's an emotion, you're feeling it in your body. The emotion is the corresponding effect of what you see or hear in your mind's eye. So if you're seeing something and your body responds, it is real to you because you are feeling it in your body. For instance, if you are sitting on the couch, because this is how anxiety or phobias would work, they don't have to see that spider. Oh, Angela, why? Because spider is the most popular thing. They don't have to see that spider. But the sheer panic that sets in if you mention spider, is their body not feeling that panic? Then it is real to them. Because this is why we don't understand what people go through sometimes, but it doesn't mean that it isn't real to them. So long as the body has that response and they can feel it in their body, it is real to them. If the body didn't have a response, that it could feel and experience, well, then they're not experiencing it, thus it isn't real. But so long as they are physiologically feeling that thing in their body, it is real to them. But what we tend to do is we dismiss them. Oh, you have a problem. Let me silence what you hear or see. Why don't you ask questions? Because if you ask questions of what they're seeing and hearing, now you begin to get a better picture of how to assist. And then you get a better picture of what they're dealing with. But you can't just tell them it isn't real. You don't dismiss it. There's nothing worse than not feeling as if you're heard. Right? Because if you say, listen, I'm feeling this particular way. When somebody says I'm feeling this particular way, that is our cue to say, well, explain. But we don't have time for that, do we? No, we don't. We don't have time for it. We just say, ugh, you're crazy. Like, no. So long as that body has a response in it, it is real to the person feeling it. I've given you examples. You could think of your favorite food and whatever, it doesn't move you. But if your body begins to salivate and you get all excited, oh, yep, that dish is real. And you're going to go eat it, aren't you? Exactly. So the reason why I took this, why I deviated in this direction was because I find sometimes that we take each other for granted. We do. We take each other for granted and we brush off the other's feelings. And I'll tell you now, the natural progression for someone who's not heard is just to holler more. And when they cannot holler anymore, they act it out. So why say, well, that escalated quickly? Because it just depends. The person who acts it out of sheer frustration because they don't feel it as if they're heard, that didn't just happen today. That was a cumulative effect. It just built up and built up and built up, not being heard. So if you are not equipped to listen to someone, you still don't brush them off. You say, you know what? I don't know that I understand what that feels like, but I could try and find someone to help you, to hear you out. That's better than a dismissal. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. When you can listen to someone and comprehend, you might not have had the experience that they're presently having, but it doesn't mean you cannot lend an ear or be empathetic to the situation. As I said, if you're not equipped to do it, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But suggest. I might not be able to help, but I know someone who might be able to help, or I could recommend someone, right? Reason being, that thing, that thought in your mind's eye that you are feeling is the dictator for how you will behave. There's no way around that. We call it inspiration when somebody is mentally moved. You call it inspiration because the thing that quote unquote inspired them moved them, so they acted it out. So you call it inspiration. The spirit within moved. So then the body has to follow what the spirit did. It's all we do. This inner movement that we do is from the law or principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without. So whatever it is you are contemplating, you become what you behold, you know? You become what you contemplate. So that's why caution is required. Why caution? Because if you keep entertaining the ho hum, the pain, the drab, you keep entertaining that, how do you possibly think you're going to behave in the outside world? The way it makes you feel. I keep telling you this because faith comes by hearing. So that when you go out into the world and you are in a situation, you can catch yourself and not buckle beneath the pressure of a situation. But you see the situation for what it is. This is my thought, you know. How do you know? We tend to say, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. What a coincidence. Nah, it's not a coincidence. It was you. But you see what we do? We blame. We feel guilty. We feel ashamed of ourselves. Oh, I totally messed up. I'm such a failure. Oh, come now. The question is, do you want to continue in it? No. All right. What do you want to do instead? You see, this is where you go. The moment you begin to entertain that guilt and that shame and that anguish, the longer it persists. It is there to show you what you've done. That's its job. So you're going to feel it. It is natural to feel it. It is natural to feel remorse or guilt or shame for what you've done. It's natural to do that. As within, so without. That's what makes it natural. The law. So if you've messed up, you're going to, oh man, that's all right. It's all right. Now, what would you like instead? What would you like to do instead? Now that's where you put the attention on. So you can move in that direction. Because guilt is heavy, man. Yeah? Oh, shame is not any lighter. Yikes. They're like boulders and you're trying to drag them around. Like you're working in a quarry digging rocks with just your bare hands. Ooh, heavy and tiresome work. But if you say, you know what? I know what I did. I did what I did because I was in a mental state. I was in a mental mood. Well, you wouldn't have done it otherwise. You only act according to the mental mood or state that you are in. But here's our saving grace. We can move from one state to another mentally, thereby changing the exterior behavior. So you don't have to walk around with guilt and shame. Just acknowledge it. If you have to apologize, then apologize. And then decide what would be better. And begin to see that in your mind's eye. And then you'll start doing better. Why? Because you know better. And you already know how it feels to know and not do. When you know better, but you don't do it, oh dear Lord. That's the word that will make your guilt and shame feel even worse. Because what do we say? Oh my God, why can't I do better? Why? That's what you say. But remember, guilt and shame are not there to punish you and beat you. They are simply the corresponding effect to what you have going on inside. So it's telling you, hey, this is what you're doing. Hey, this is what's going on. That's what it's telling you. And it's telling you that so that you can decide if you want to stay there or do something else. That's its job, just to tell you what you're doing. And then you get to decide if you want to continue doing that thing. That's it. Nothing else. So you see, as you go through the day today and the weekend, be diligent to catch yourself. If you're out here in these streets rocking in the corner talking about, I'm not worthy. All right then. See? He always knows when to reinforce a point. Don't be walking out here in these streets talking about you're not worthy. Does that feel good to you? No, it sure doesn't. Who is going to make you feel worthy? Cheesecake is not going to make you feel worthy. Cheesecake is on the outside. A whole pizza is not going to make you feel worthy either. Nope. So what's going to make you feel worthy? You looking in the mirror and realizing that you feel unworthy. And then you'll say to yourself, well, this won't do. I am only in this state of feeling unworthy. And you know what? I want to get into a different state. What state do I want to get into? And the moment you say, the moment you ask, what state do I want to get into? Because you want to feel better, your body begins to feel better. So the longer you entertain the thoughts and the images of, what would make me feel better? The moment you begin to entertain feeling better because you've asked yourself, what would it be like? What would that new state feel like to me? You begin to feel a little bit lighter. You genuinely do. Don't argue with me. Just test it for yourself. Well, who's the one living your life? Well, it's not me. You've got to test these things out for yourself. If you begin asking yourself, what would it feel like to just smile a little bit more? What would it feel like if I was a little bit happier? What would that feel like? Your body honestly will begin to respond and make you feel better, just the same way as you ask, why does this thing keep happening to me? Why do people think I'm not good enough? You see? The line of questioning has to change. And you will change to follow that line of questioning. You know this as well as I do, because sometimes we sit in that dark room and we say that to ourselves and then wonder why we don't feel better. You can't feel better if you keep asking that type of question. So you know that. So then if you ask a better question, you will begin to feel better. Honest. You're the one experiencing it. So pay attention to what you do. And when you pay attention to what you do, you will begin to realize that your happiness will never come from external things, because external things wither and die. So now if that thing withers and dies, your happiness will die with it. Trust me, we've all been there. So it is not the thing that's going to make you happy. It is you recognizing that, wait a minute, I can generate a feeling of happiness on the fly. The happiness comes as a result of your thinking, your choice mentally. And then the thing shows up to show you you're happy, not that your happiness. Sorry, a little bit. My baby just moved right behind that door because he can. So he can holler a little bit more. Listen. Just be gentle with yourself. Come on now. Come on. Remember that what you are feeling right here, right now, in any given moment is simply a mood. What else would you call it? It's a mental attitude. It's a mood. You know it's a mood. Why? Oh my God. He is like in such a crappy mood. Hear what you're saying? Like, I am so not feeling that today. I'm not in a good mood. Don't you say that to yourself all the time? I'm just trying to show you what you do naturally. We are always in a mood, and the mood makes you feel, and the way you feel is the way you act because it is the law. You are conscious and aware of yourself, and then you become aware of the mood that you are in, and then the mood that you are in as within. So without. That's it. So to go in the opposite direction, to feel better, get in there. Get in there and start getting into a better mood mentally. Because you can clearly see how the old mood made you feel. Well, the new mood, ta-da, will make you feel better. It will. Because as within, so without. Well, so how do you keep yourself in that mood? That good mood, the better mood? Well, keep it in your mind's eye. You replay whatever scenario is accompanying that better mood. And let me tell you, you might drive down the street and slip right out of that good mood into, oh my God, where did you get your license? The Sears catalog? Oh, you slipped out of the mood. But once you catch yourself, you can slide on right back into the good mood. Can you not? We are always moving from where we are to where we are going. So for you to stay in the mood indefinitely, you're always moving. Right? You're always moving. But as long as you pay attention and catch yourself, you'll do just fine. For real, for real. You'll do just fine. Right? It's not the cue to beat yourself up. This is what I'm trying to show you so that the next time you go out there in these streets and you're talking about, oh my God, you'll be like, whoa, wait a minute. I can change my mood. The moment you acknowledge that you can change your mood, you actually start to feel better right there in that very instant. Because it is law. One cannot escape the law. But you can use it deliberately though. As Neville Goddard would so poetically put it, you are the operant power. That's what you are. So you see, all is well. It's not all will be well, all is well. Why? Why is and not will? Because you can change your mood at any moment. At any moment. So it is well. There's no delay. You can change it at any moment. That's why all is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. That hymn who takes me all the way back to my Afro puffs and childhood days. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, Whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well. It is well with my soul. It is only well because you recognize what you're doing and you can change right there, right then. That is what makes it well. Not your suffering that makes it well. You can recognize. You can recognize. Wait a minute, I can change my mood. So this weekend, frolic and have a good time. That's why I named the title of the room, Free Your Mind. Have some fun. Because if you're busy, right, having some fun, do you know what comes out of that? So many other things. I happened to see, what's its name last night. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just skipped right to the part that I knew was hilarious. Ace Ventura. Oh, good Lord. I remember when it first came out. I have not cracked up that hard in a long time. I saw like just his facial expressions. He goes, "Oh, reason," Jim Carrey, like, and he came to the realization, right? Finkel and Einhorn, and I'm like, back in the day, that was the funniest thing ever. But what I'm saying to you is, laugh more, because a merry heart does the body good like a medicine. Well, scientists are telling you a happy hormone. When you're happy, your body releases endorphins. Endorphins are natural painkillers. Laughter does the body good like medicine. But depression rots the bones. Science is telling us that. But how would science know? As within, so without. Your body will respond chemically to your thoughts. Oh, if you're sitting on the couch and they say, "Cougar," and you jump up, you freak out. What just happened? You released what? Adrenaline. Because you got scared. So you released the hormone that matches how you feel. That's why science can tell you that's what happens. But the law has already been telling you, as within, so without. But man always needs cold, hard evidence before they'll believe in a thing. Then you are the cold, hard evidence. You are the evidence. You always will be the evidence. Always. As within, so without. As a man thinketh, therefore he is. Alan Watts. William Blake. Man becomes what they contemplate. Because you're looking at it. So you see, all of the evidence that you could possibly be looking for, you are the evidence. You're the evidence. Just observe yourself. That's why Neville says, test yourself. But because right now it would just be a hypothesis, wouldn't it? A hypothesis is a theory you can test. So the theory is imagining creates reality. That would be the theory, the hypothesis. So how are you going to test it? You're going to get into your mind's eye. What would it be like if? And you begin to feel it. And then at some point throughout this day, you'll be talking about, "Oh my God, what a coincidence. I was just thinking about that." You have just proven to yourself that you imagined that thing and then you encountered it. So does imagination or imagining create reality? According to your test, sure did. So then you might say, "Man, that's just a one-off. That's just a fluke. Let me do it again." And you say, What would it be like if dot dot dot? And you go about your day and then ta-da! You're like, whoa, wait a minute, that's another coincidence? What is it with these coincidences and these synchronicities? You go and you say that. But did you again not prove to yourself that imagining creates reality? But then you say, you know what? That might still be a coincidence. Let me try it one more time. And you do it again. If you can repeat that process 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, what more evidence do you need? You are the one who's proving the theory. So now it's not a theory for you anymore, is it? No, it's not a theory. It is now experience. But you see, we forget, don't we? We forget what we did. And then we say, yeah, but how do I do it with this? The same way you did it with that. You just asked yourself, what would it be like if? The process doesn't change. As within, so without is never going to change. Scripture would tell you, as long as the earth remains, there'll be seed time and harvest. Can't have a harvest without planting seeds. And if you have seeds that you've planted, you will have a harvest. But as you plant, so shall you reap. So as within, so without, it's going to be here. So you see, perk up. Because now you have something that you can test and you can use on a daily basis. You don't let somebody come along and try and make you feel bad. Why would somebody do that? Because they're in a state that feels bad to them. And you know how it is. We say misery loves company. Because as within, so without. So if I'm walking around like Eeyore with a rain cloud over me, well, I'm going to give everybody an umbrella. Because I think everybody's having the rain like me. No. See? So now that you know what to do, practice. Practice. Why practice? Because the more you practice, the easier what you are practicing becomes. 1. And 2, you just get better at doing it and seeing it unfold in your world. Because it didn't work the first time, where did you mess up? Find where you messed up. Did you mess up in step 1, which is clarity? Did you know what you want, or were you like a fish out of water? Vacillating, flopping back and forth. I want this. Oh, no, I want that. Have some clarity so that when you say, this, you say, I am that. That's what I want right there, that. Or was it in step 2? What did you experience in imagination? Did you experience what was contradictory to what you say you wanted? Or did you experience in imagination what was a match to what you wanted? So, did the thing you want and the thing you imagined as the outcome, did they match? If they didn't match, well, then the one that you feel is the one you'll get. So is that where you messed up, or did you mess up in the persistence? You just were like, whatever, I don't care. Or did you say, I will remain faithful to my imaginal act? So how do you remain faithful to your imaginal act? You rehearse it. You do not allow the external to pull you away. You just remain faithful. It doesn't matter if George can see it or not. You can see it. Stay faithful to that. What does that mean? It means you're saying, you know what? I saw this in my mind's eye, and I can't be made a liar of, because as within, so without. This is what I saw. This is what I felt. They match. It is done. I'm going to just go do my chores. I don't have to fret anymore. So if you have done it, right, and you say it didn't work or you got the opposite, no, you didn't get the opposite. You got what you felt was true. So you go back and you find step 1, 2, or 3 where you stumbled and reinforce yourself in that step. You see, that's because it's not something that you do once and you're done. You live life every day, so we are constantly doing this process. Day in and day out, we're constantly doing it. Whether we know we're doing it deliberately or we're doing it because you can't not do it. I trust that it made sense and that you and I will go through this weekend and have the most beautiful weekend there is. And do you know why you should have the most beautiful weekend? Because you are the one to say, I am that. I am. I can call those things that are not as though they were, and they become. In my life, doggone right I can. That's what you can do. Whatever that thing was that's been holding you back for all of these years, you can finally look at it and say, oh, I see you. I see you for what you are. You're an old habit. Well, let me tell you what I'm going to remake you into. And you reshape it into what you want it to be. And you keep reshaping it until it sets and dries and hardens into fact. See how powerful you are? That you can change? And you can become what you say you want to become? Now, if that does not make you want to dance all weekend, I don't know what will. Get down on it. You know what? Let me not. Let me not say we did. Let's welcome everyone to the space, shall we? Asymmetric. Loading. Loading. It's in the house. Hey. You guys are awesome here on Twitter. Who's here on YouTube and Facebook today? Hey, Sugar Visions. Everyday King is here. Wealthy Supreme Rico. Hey, Jeff. Miss Sonia. I see you all here in the chat. You're the ones who've made yourselves known. For the others who've not made themselves known, hey, I see you. Who's here on Fanbase today? Afternoon Delight. Oh, Lord. I just said who's here, and he had to say, I am here. That's my baby. Delight, I see you. Hey, Moon. And CM, I see you. Hey, Shea Butter. Miss McQueen. Hey, L. Oracle Treehouse. Flo Smiles. Ollie was here. I know I saw her. Yes, a little bit. You are here too. So anyhow, I'm gonna get the bowl, and you got bird song. So as you hear the bowl and bird song, revel in the fact that, wait a minute, I can change my life. I can change my life. I can go from zero to hero. Hey, but let me start. Yeah. Contemplate that. As my grandmother would say, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyhow, bowl and bird song. You got this. Yes, I can. Of course. Nutty Professor, right? Of course you can. Of course you can. Just practice. How else do you know you have it if you don't practice? You got to see yourself doing the thing. You see, he tries to outdo me every day. He tries to holler louder than I am. But you got to give him props because he's cute. The bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, you were too slow on the draw, baby. I think that's a little woodpecker in the tree. Oh my God, it is. Because he's pecking away at the branch. Sorry, I was distracted by the bird life. What's today? So tomorrow is the workshop, the Flourish workshop. Mm-hmm. What are the 3 P's? Passion, purpose, prosperity. And I say it would be awesome if you guys could come out to that workshop tomorrow. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is in the description in my community tab on YouTube. It is in my Twitter timeline, and it is on my fan base timeline. Definitely slide into my DMs and let me know if you're going to be there. And we'll be there. Because it's 8 a.m. for me, 10 a.m. for you. So it's fully interactive. We learn lots. We do lots. We comprehend lots. So if you've got questions about a particular thing you want to experience, well, come on out and let's flesh it out. You see, I make these things available because it is far more cost effective to do them this way than to do one-on-one coaching with you. Not because I can't, but one-on-one coaching is a hefty price tag. So, hefty price tag or $35 for the workshop. And then with that, why I like it better than just the one-on-one is because you have many people, and many people together focused on the same thing is a beautiful outcome, for one. And two, you get to hear the process and practice the process over and over and over again because there are many people practicing at the same time. So who benefits? We all do. We all benefit from it. So that's why I like the pop-up workshops, and because they're much better for everybody. They're much better for everybody as a group. Anyhow, don't let me keep you. I don't remember the lecture for tonight, but I know it'll be lit because last night was, and night before. Anywho, don't let me keep you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, that's at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, actually. The lecture tonight, the bedtime lecture. He's just really going. I don't have the window open, just the blind. But if I open that window, he'll fly away. But he's just really going to town. Wow. Anywho, I wish you could see him. He's so cute. Anyhow, my beautiful friends, enjoy this glorious weekend and walk in your power for the goodness of everybody else. Come on now. Anywho, I do love you, and I'll see you tonight if you want to fall asleep with us in the state of the wish fulfilled. I'll see you tonight. Peace out, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook fan base. Listen, and if you want to hang out with us on fan base, because I usually spend a little bit extra time on fan base, because, fan base be rocking. So if you want to pop over there, you can download it, that app. Wait a minute, you can go to it on the web, but I don't have the link. I don't have the link. Wait, let me see. Can I do this? Copy link. Where can I share it? If I leave, the room might close. You go into your app store. Well, you can do it on the web without downloading the app, but I just don't have the link for it. You know what? I'll be more proactive and copy and paste that link for you if you're so intrigued to come over here on Fanbase, where you can be you without limits. Awesome stuff. Anywho, I love you. I'll see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy the beautiful weekend.